Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with the Kill Count, and today we're here with the 2022 film, Pearl. Yeah, this one's basically the prequel to X, you know, that horror film where an old couple just go ham on a, well, you know the film. Here, we're about to see how they became so murderous, or at least Pearl does. You'll understand. Let's just get to the film and see how many times Pearl gets during her first kill fest. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's check it out. Let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Pearl, released in 2022. Pearl is a prequel to X, the slasher that premiered earlier the same year. We'll have a whole ass trilogy when Maxine releases next week, which follows X's final girl into 1980s Los Angeles. All three films come courtesy of veteran writer, director, editor, and producer Ty West. Pearl explores the early years of X's gory grandma, who now becomes the titular character. She's once again played by Mia Goth, only this time she doesn't have to sit through hours of old person makeup. Goth came up with a lot of Pearl's backstory as character work for X, and co-wrote the screenplay with West during X's production. A24 greenlit the project by time X began filming, allowing them to secretly shoot both projects back to back. They used the same sets and a lot of the same crew, literally doing pre-production on Pearl while shooting X. That gives this prequel a rewarding continuity, letting us see the old and broken down locations and characters from X back when they were in their prime 60 years prior. And it's not just a fresh coat of paint differentiating the two films. While X is a 70s style slasher, evoking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Pearl is a Technicolor nightmare character piece. It takes inspiration from Golden Age films and sweeping musicals. Watching Pearl go to work feels like watching Mary Poppins murder people in Oz. The bright theatrical tone makes the terrifying elements stand out more. The horror here comes from Pearl's psychological unraveling, which seems inevitable given the circumstances in which she lives. It takes place in 1918, a double dose of suck thanks to World War I and the Spanish flu. But even without those global traumas, Pearl's been dealt a rough hand. She's living with a mental illness in an era where that wouldn't have been recognized or treated. I won't attempt to armchair diagnose her, but she's clearly sociopathic with delusions of grandeur.
One day the whole world's gonna know my name.
Between the character's warped but well-developed psychology and a performance for the ages by Goth, Pearl instantly inserts herself into the pantheon of horror icons. Some memorable modern killers, like Megan, earn that status through their appearance and dialogue. Pearl's more like a Patrick Bateman type. She completely owns every frame she's in, and you learn so deeply who she is and the flaws that drive her. She's the main attraction of a movie that also features haunting imagery and buckets of cherry red blood. In other words, one goddamned fucked up
bloody mess.
Picture. Will this bloody backstory leave us...
You right, James?
Sorry, one moment. Who seeks the wisdom of the great judge?
Oh, great judge. I've traveled
Okay.
across the gray pavement roads of Los Angeles to meet you. I hear you have the power to grant whatever I seek.
Indeed I do. Tell me, what is it you desire?
A good night's sleep.
Wizard of Oz reference much?
Countenance.
Ah, an easy request. I can help you, no magic required. Thanks to today's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep offers premium fiberglass-free mattresses, customized to your needs and shipped straight to your door. Why, I just upgraded our cool 70s-themed guest room with one. All I had to do was fill out their online sleep quiz to get the perfect option based on my body type and sleep preferences from their selection of 20 unique mattresses. That ended with me getting the Midnight Lux mattress, with a 100-night sleep trial to make sure it was just right for me.
But I'm sorry, Isn't the mattress for your guests?
Are you questioning the judgment of the great judge?
No, sir.
Good. Besides, it's perfect for a quick nap when I'm downstairs. The great judge works irregular hours, so being able to squeeze in a power nap within feet of my office is ideal. Plus, its cooling cover helps me stay cool and comfortable even on hot days. Just wait. I'm sure you'll love it too. And when you do, you and all of my adoring subjects can take advantage of their 4th of July sale by going to helixsleep.com/deadmeat to get 30% off Lux and Elite mattresses plus 2 free pillows, as well as 25% off site-wide. All with a 10-year warranty, and for US customers, free shipping! Now off with you! I have important matters to tend to. Greatness and judge and all that. Will this bloody backstory lead us
hail the grudge!
Let's find out.
Let's go find out.
Kills.
This is gonna be interesting. I think with Pearl definitely seems sociopathic. Not so psychopathic, but definitely not in the here and now, or in this case, not much in the sorry, I'm trying to find the right word, but she definitely has a break in reality, if you know what I mean. You know? You'll understand as we watch the film, you know? So, shall we? Well, let's see how many people Pearl has to die or kill off to get where she is next.
The movie begins with a swelling score and the same barn doors as X. But while X used those doors to tease a 4x3 framing, Pearl opens them wide into a technicolor world. It's the world of grandiose musicals, so let's get some lights, camera, action on Pearl. Ain't she a heavenly creature, folks? Too bad her mother don't agree. Pearl lives and works on her family's farm in 1918 Texas. Her parents are German immigrants, and it's not a great time to be that.
I don't want to hear about any more dead Germans tonight.
Further harshing Pearl's vibe is her father, since the poor guy is a shell of a human being. An unspecified disease has left him immobile, needing to be fed and bathed. It's awful for him and also for Pearl, who's not cut out for life on the farm. She lets her true self shine when she's alone. She's a straight-up thespian, a performer.
A star.
A star. She has the same feeling about herself that Maxine Minx would 60 years later.
I got the answer.
You're special.
I'm special.
Special is one way to put it, considering how she deals with barnyard pals who don't pay for tickets to her show. She pitchforks a poor goose and takes it to a nearby pond. There, she calls for her bumpy friend Theta and feeds that gator a tunnel card. The next day, Pearl rides her bike into town, passing by a man preaching from the Book of Maxine.
I will not accept a life I do not deserve.
Great slogan to throw on a sandwich board. After picking up morphine for her dad, she disobeys her mom's orders and swings by the local cinema for a show. She watches it with 20/20 vision, by which I mean with a mask over her face to avoid the pandemic. Pearl takes place in 1918, when the Spanish flu was wreaking havoc on the world, much like COVID-19 in 2020. The parallels are aplenty.
Remember to cover your face. And don't linger close to anyone. Papers are warning of a lethal resurgence.
Writer-director Ty West thought this was a topical way to add to Pearl's isolation. She already struggles with the loneliness of farm life. With the pandemic in place, she can't even socialize in town.
All this isolation has been enough to make one mad, hasn't it?
It really has.
It reflects the mental health issues a lot of people experienced from isolation during COVID lockdowns. Before the movie starts, Nicole Kidman...
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine back then. Like, I had a hard time during that too, but... I mean, I was doing this, so it kind of helped in a way, but I wasn't able to stream since, well, I didn't have, like, the PC I have, like, down here. I only had my laptop, so I was kind of stuck. Like, I would have loved to stream, but, well, I didn't want to risk it. But, dang, I can't even imagine back then. Like, same difference, just no Zoom, nothing. Just look out. Yeesh. Can't imagine the struggle. You know, no wonder Pearl goes cuckoo, cuckoo, and murder happy. You know, just saying. You can't blame the girl.
It's a shoot for some pre-show propaganda. Damn, that footage is intense. Couldn't play Make Mine Music or some shit? Pearl takes a swig of scissor, but settles in for Palace Follies, a film that features the song Wee Wee Marie. Wee Wee Marie. The same song played in X when old Pearl danced in Bloody Headlights. That version was a cover by Chelsea Wolfe. After the show, Pearl has a back alley bump-in with the theater's projectionist. And that's projectionist with a capital P, since we never learn the guy's real name. The mustachioed movie man gets flirty with Pearl, not knowing that she's married, because she never tells him. Her husband Howard is off fighting in the trenches and writes to her about the horrors he's seen and how much he misses her.
I never want to be away from you again, till death do us part.
As X showed, that would turn out to be true. The projectionist gives Pearl the frame of the picture she just saw and says she can come by and see a film whenever she wants. He's her own personal movie pass. On her way home, the film frame flies out of Pearl's pocket. She knows there's only one place it could have gone. Deep into the corn stalks? Maybe she can get another one from He Who Films Behind the Rose. She doesn't find Isaac or Malachi, but she does stumble upon a creepy-ass scarecrow. But hey, when you're in a drought, even straw can look nice and ripe. She takes the brainless bumpkin for a ballroom dance and starts to practice kissing on him. Ooh, moving on to the advanced techniques I see. And why not? He's so handsome. Ain't he, Pearl?
I'm married!
Okay, that's
You're the one
cool.
smogging him.
Then why you about to... Oh, okay, you're gonna have a little scarecrow secret, huh? Yep, she clicks her ruby heels against him, and, well, she fucks that scarecrow. I mean, you shouldn't be too surprised. We don't see that Pearl's perpetually horny, even in old age. She gets home late and finds her frustrated mom chopping wood like she were William from The Witch. She's sent inside to help wash off her father, which gives her the chance to practice her kicks. And her psychopathy, since she pinches and prods him. Oh man, and chokes him too? Come on, Pearl, leave your pops alone. At dinner, Mama Ruth takes away her daughter soup after noticing her change was missing 8 cents. Inflation calculator says that'd be $1.79 today. Seems harsh, but so are the times, as Ruth's quick to remind her daughter, especially for people like them.
Du siehst, wie deutsche Bauern hier behandelt werden. Der einzige Grund, warum wir nicht krank oder am Verhungern sind, ist, weil wir achtsam leben.
It's an unfortunate reminder
Yeah,
that
that
Americans
sounds
have
about right.
often been suspicious of immigrants, especially when they come from countries we're at war with. The conflict between Pearl and Ruth is one where
True
you can
nowadays,
understand
think
both
about it.
perspectives. As a desperate creative type, Pearl's obviously going to be miserable living on a farm, but her mother immigrated here and worked hard to achieve this life. She can't afford for her daughter to be flighty.
Ich kann dir nicht erlauben, dein Leben zu verträumen und dich vor deinen Verantwortungen zu drücken. Ist das klar?
Das ist klar. That night, Pearl wishes
ist
for a
klar.
chance to escape the farm, and a shooting star portends an opportunity. It arrives the next day when Howard's mom and sister visit, trying to help out by delivering a pig roast. Ruth is too proud to accept the handout, especially from a family that's much better off. Turns out Howard comes from money and privilege. He even could have gotten out of serving in the war.
You know, we had a doctor willing to declare him ineligible.
But he turned down his family wealth and opportunity to instead be a farmhand and soldier. And Pearl's super thrilled about that. She loves it, really. So proud
Jealous.
of you. That's great, Howie. Her sister-in-law Mitzi lets her know there's a traveling troupe in town auditioning girls to be dancers.
Doesn't that sound exciting?
Sure does to Pearl, so the
Yeah,
two
yeah.
make plans to attend the audition together. Pearl thinks it can be her ticket out of this place, and let her have a bit of palace folly herself. Yes, sir, she can see it now. Best of all, it'll get her away from her mom, who's just, God, the most joyless woman I've ever seen. She's a black cloud amongst all these vibrant colors. Pearl was shot on the same
kidding.
sets and locations as X just 3 weeks after that film wrapped. They kept on a lot
Really?
of the
3
same
weeks?
crew, too,
Cool.
many of whom were in the middle of a break from working on Avatar 2. Sometimes it was a lot
Damn.
of work to transform things into the 1910s. For the town, they shot a section of Wanganui in New Zealand, where they had to remove parking meters and light poles and put down dirt to cover the asphalt. But other times, it was easier to recreate this time period than the 70s for X. Production designer Tom Hammock said it was less stressful getting
I
props,
hope they put
since
them back,
viewers know
'cause
the
imagine.
1910s a lot less than they know the 70s. And making Pearl's home look new was actually easier than aging it for X. Instead of having to add wear and tear, they could just put up new wallpapers and a fresh coat of paint.
It was very strange
That could
to be making a movie on a farm for over a month and then go away for about a month. And when you came back, the farm looked totally different.
The owners of the house they shot
much,
in
I
liked
can
the
imagine.
remodeling so much, they kept it after production was over. Pearl steals another one of her mom's dresses.
You think the owners actually made an Airbnb like, hey, come to see the house that was an X and Pearl? What do you think? I don't know. I feel like that would happen. I mean, hell, they made Trump's childhood home a Airbnb. Wouldn't be surprised they actually made that. Did they? I'm curious now. Let me know if that's true, but let's keep going.
And sneaks out to see the projectionist again. She rides into town looking like the Wicked Witch, or I guess technically looking like Miss Gulch. There's a lot of Wizard of Oz imagery in this movie, since,
Oh.
like Dorothy, Pearl imagines living in a world that's bigger than her life on the farm. The projectionist is pleased to get her on his dirt couch and give her a dirty glass of booze. She asks to watch
I guess he
Palace
sleeps
Follies
here,
again,
too.
but he
Love
suggests
couch,
a reel
bed.
from his personal collection.
How about a film nobody else has seen?
The movie, A Free Ride from 1915, is a real-life stag film, short silent movies that are some of the earliest examples of pornography. He picked up this little titty-ditty in France, since they're still illegal in the US of A, but he thinks they'll be legal soon enough.
People pay an arm and a leg to see this.
It's a nod towards the future production
the
that'll
X.
take place in Pearl's backyard 60 years from now. There's another bit of connective tissue when the projectionist calls himself a bohemian. I guess Howard has a string of bad luck with guys like him.
The last bohemian that stayed here was the same. Traipsing around and barely any clothes, enticing my wife.
More X connections
Woof.
are made when the sexy cinephile encourages Pearl to follow her dreams.
You only get one take at this life. And if you don't make the most of it when you're young, you don't get a second chance.
That's kind of the whole theme of X. There, we
much
see
X?
Pearl long after all her second chances are gone, and we hear the younger characters talk about avoiding those regrets.
Because one day, we're gonna be too old to fuck.
And life's too short if you ask me.
Pearl opens up about feeling stuck, caring for her father and tending to the farm. She may even open up a bit too much.
If only they would just die.
Oh boy.
Pardon?
Pardon me now?
Nothing. She almost makes good on that thought later.
Yeah, honestly, that's okay. Gotta get to the sheriff on that one.
Theta Gata is named after silent film actress Theta Bara, whose film is playing at Pearl's local cinema. American alligators can live to be over 80, so Theta may be the same gator who would later take a bite out of Bobby Lynn. She doesn't get a daddy dinner now, though, since Ruth finds Pearl before any chairs are tipped. Afterwards, Pearl finds a nest of gator eggs and takes one home. Her resentment towards Howard for leaving her causes her to scramble her new friend as she hallucinates him being killed in the war. I love this sudden explosion.
Just boom.
Blew up a dummy filled with fake guts. Ruth finds out Pearl's been sneaking into town and demands she isolate from her sickly father. Pearl asks to go to the dance audition instead, saying she wants something more than this life, and that's the final straw for her mom. Ruth accuses Pearl of being ungrateful and says she knows her daughter has antisocial tendencies. Not that she knows that word, but she's seen what she does to animals, and she's afraid of her.
It's only a matter of time before you hurt someone else.
She's also like, oh, you think your life sucks? Look what I'm dealing with.
I was supposed to be his wife, not his mother.
Ruth is played by Tandy Wright, a New Zealand actress who worked on X as its intimacy coordinator. She taped her audition for Pearl with the help of Owen Campbell and Martin Henderson, and only had 3 weeks to learn the German required for the role. She gets nuts with the guilt trip and even stabs an innocent table. Oh my God! Then she pretty much curses her daughter.
But when you fail, and you will fail, I want you to remember what it feels like. Because that's how I feel every time I look at you.
Damn, we may have passed hereditary
rough,
levels
Mom.
of brutal dinner scenes. That mic drop moment leads into a game of slappy slaps, and before you know it, Ruth catches on fire. Pearl puts it out and scalds her scolding mother with boiling corn water. Sure, the fire's gone now, but
yeah,
so is
she's
skin.
bad.
Ruth ain't quite ready for her kill graphic though, so Pearl stores her in the basement with the rest of the Xmas decorations. Free at last, Pearl runs back to town to do some sinning in the rain with the projectionist. She tells him she wants to iris down on him. Ugh. We fade into a 4x3 dream theater, hold the Portnoy, where the monochromatic masses clamor for Pearl. Originally, Weston Goff pitched Pearl as a black and white movie, thinking it could lower production costs. But A24 knew y'all wouldn't watch that movie or its kill count, so production pivoted to make what West called a demented Disney movie. Pearl wakes up the next morning in that tiny metal bed, and briefly panics since it's the day of the dance audition. But the projectionist offers her a ride back home. Bet he didn't expect to find a maggoty pig roast on the porch. Ooh. Yeah, that's maybe a red flag, dude. Pearl keeps him outside as she tidies up, which includes cleaning up after her poor hungry dad. Guy was left at the dinner table by himself all night. Come on, Pearl. He's not gonna be in the mood for company.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
The projectionist is already having second thoughts, and his sexual aspirations end when he hears Ruth bumping in the basement. He's played by David Cornsweet, who's been tapped as the DCEU's new Superman. His acting here is great. With each new piece of information he gets, he realizes he's stepped into something bad. He makes an excuse to leave, but Pearl catches on real fast.
What's the matter with you?
Yikes, you're alright.
Nothing.
I'll take biggest lies I've ever heard for 800.
Yep.
He tries to drive off, but an angry
Just
Pearl takes
go-
a pitchfork to the
Oh,
poor
ooh.
guy's pecs. Twice. She finishes him off by planting it into the ground straight through his mouth. God damn.
goddamn.
She later makes like Psycho and sinks his body and car into the lake. It's a move she'd repeat over 60 years later in X. Pearl punts her mother back into the basement, then dresses up herself and her father in their Sunday best. This is the most emotive we've seen her dad, and that emotion.
Yeah, you can see him crying, like, oh god.
Ready to
I
leave her
raised the
life
monster.
behind, Pearl gives her dad a kiss and then smothers him to death with a towel off screen. Man, you gotta feel for the guy. He had a real rough life and a pretty lame death. The movie's score shifts here to match the turn in Pearl's character. The film's beautiful orchestral score was co-composed by Tyler Bates, returning from X, this time working with Get Out and It composer Tim Williams. For inspiration, the two looked to composers like frequent Hitchcock collaborator Bernard Herrmann and English composer John Barry, who worked on a ton of James Bond films. The score was performed by a 60-piece orchestra, which was funded by A24 despite going over their planned budget. Pearl takes her new digs and meets Mitzi at the audition. Newly emboldened, she makes no false claim of sportsmanship.
It has to be me.
The troupe is only looking to hire one girl, and since Pearl's projecting confidence, Mitzi asks her to audition first. Pearl agrees and finally infiltrates the world she's been dreaming of. X marks the spot, and the eventual sequel. A slow-motion setup belies an energetic start to a Napoleon Dynamite performance. It's confident and, a little unsettling. Also, sometimes avian. The judges aren't too impressed. But in Pearl's mind, she's putting on a spectacle you haven't seen since 1917. Not the year, I meant the Sam Mendes flick.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's a full-blown musical number with rockettes of the Radio City and Ballistic variety. Unfortunately, no matter how hard she smiles, that's not enough to win over the judges.
Thank you. but it's gonna be a no.
And just like that, Pearl's brain breaks. I don't know what she expected though. You know she ain't getting high marks from her dead burnt mama. The judges say they're looking for someone all-American, young and blonde.
Someone with X Factor.
Pearl has a total meltdown and makes some noise!
Please, I'm a star!
Sorry, that's the brakes, little lady. Hey, wait a minute. This means when Pearl said she used to be a dancer in X, she was a fucking liar.
It ain't my fault you didn't live the life you wanted.
Damn straight, Bobby Lynn. Mitzi finds Pearl bawling her brains out and offers her a ride home, back to the Maggot Pig Inn. She tries to cool her off with a nice glass of milk, but Pearl is in the throes of missing her husband and having a self-reflective breakdown.
I'm worried there may be something real wrong with me and Mitzi.
In a bit of therapeutic theater, Mitzi offers to roleplay as Howard so Pearl can vent her feelings.
Sure that's a good idea?
I hate you so much for leaving me here sometimes. I hope you die.
Mitzi immediately regrets her decision.
Yeah, run.
In an incredible 8-minute-long monologue, Pearl opens up to the imaginary Howard about her disappointment with her life. She admits that she resents him for keeping them on this farm, when his wealth could have given her the life she wants. It's a whole dump of TMI, with her talking about the relief she felt from having a miscarriage and admitting that she kills animals. But don't worry, just the small ones.
Nothing but feelings, nothing that could hurt me back.
Except the duck,
So
if I
good.
remember correctly.
Of course, that leads to a confession of killing her parents and the projectionist.
Truth is, I'm not really a good person.
You don't say. This extended monologue was inspired by the 17-minute-long one-take in Steve McQueen's Hunger. It was meant to be a climax that contrasts with how showy and flashy the rest of the movie is. Goth practiced it every day of the shoot to get the words down, allowing her to let her emotions guide the scene. She performed the entire 15-minute scene with no cuts multiple times. It goes on for so long, you almost forget she's talking to Mitzi until it cuts back to her face. Haha, she's in danger. Mitzi tries to excuse herself, but Pearl pressures her into admitting she was cast in the chorus line. I still don't know if she really was, or if she just agrees with Pearl to get out of there faster. I mean, she does match what the judges said they were looking for, but she didn't seem like she was lying when she said she didn't get it. In any case, Pearl says she's totally fine with Mitzi getting the part. But it's not long before she's following her sister-in-law outside and grabbing an axe. I love this long shot that follows them as we watch Mitzi realize what's about to happen to her. They used a car-mounted crane called the Russian arm and did about 6 takes of it. Mitzi's heels are no match for Pearl's sensible work boots, allowing the Crimson Killer to hack her to the ground.
I'll do anything you want.
It's not about what I want anymore, Mitzi. It's about making the best of what I have.
With that, Mitzi is splitsied apart by an off-screen axe blow. Pearl heads back down into the basement where her mother Ruth has finally died of her injuries. Thank God, her kill graphic was starting to get cold. Pearl cuddles up for some cadaverous comfort and hallucinates her mother singing her a lullaby. It plays over a montage of Pearl hacking up Mitzi's corpse and feeding it to Theta. The practical effects of Mitzi's body parts never fail to blow my mind. They're so heinous and gelatinous. I love it. They were made by Weta, providing yet another movie with their always exceptional work. Pearl makes her mother more presentable, using the same hairbrush we'd see her use later in X. Yeah, there you go. Nice brushes. I got a little scalp with that one. When she's done, Pearl sets the most disgusting dinner table I've ever seen. And I've watched all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres. I mean, those are gross, but I don't think any are as maggoty as this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Sometime later, Howard finally returns from the war. He excitedly enters his home, only to find a nightmare mode Norman Rockwell waiting for him. Pearl greets him with a pitcher of lemonade, and the movie ends with Mia Goth proving she's the queen of long takes by holding a manic smile for nearly 2 minutes straight. This was originally meant to be a freeze frame ending, but West wanted to see how long Goth could hold the smile. She really lost herself in it.
That was just one take, and we only had one chance to do it, and that was never the plan for it to go on for as long as it did, but Ty decided to keep rolling, and then I just decided to go along with it.
It lasts all the way through the end of the credits. Okay, that's all, folks. Seriously, Pearl.
Please, can we move on? Thank you. Bye.
How many did Pearl bring to this Antiques horror show? Let's find out.
Let's go find out. Got the numbers.
Scarecrow guy? Scarecrow guy? Have you always been kinda...
James, you're married. You're married. James, you're married.
No.
There you go.
I'm married!
Come on, dude.
Okay.
Chelsea. Oh, what? I don't know how you convinced Chelsea that this is a good idea, but to troll. I got nothing left to say. Only about 4, right?
Only 4 people died in Pearl, which is half as many victims as there were in X. They consisted of 2 men and 2 women, giving us this Technicolor pie chart. We've only seen this content breakdown twice before on this show.
Oh, and X-Men,
both of those movies were good ones. With a runtime of 102 minutes, Pearl had to kill on average every 25.5 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Mitzi, as long as we include the disgusting dismemberment that followed, which I will. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Pearl's dad. It happened almost entirely off screen to a character who really didn't deserve it. And that's it. Pearl came out in 2022 and is set to be followed by Maxine, which comes out next week. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 5 months since Immaculate came out, and we haven't done a kill count for it yet.
God will never forgive you.
Well, that's a bit much, don't you think?
Wait, wasn't this a prequel to what?
All is forgiven. Just say 5 Hail Lucys and we'll move on. Immaculate is the story of a novice sister named Cecilia who transfers to a convent in Italy after a near-death experience.
Oh.
Sounds terrifying.
It makes her think God has saved her life to serve a special purpose. But what could it be?
Must have drank too much wine and embarrassed myself.
No, that can't be it. People do that all the time. It's probably something more conceptual, having to do with the movie title.
You are with child.
There it is. Now, don't get confused. This isn't the first Omen. It's just pretty much exactly the same as the first Omen.
Fuck this.
But that doesn't mean it's bad. Sydney Sweeney does a great job.
Thank you. I don't mean that as a compliment.
Well, I did. You're probably just jealous she got to make out with Glenn Powell. Anyway, this week, get thee to a nunnery to watch Immaculate.
Yeah, good luck.
Make sure you brush up on your Italian.
It's fine, I will translate for you.
Then on Friday, take a break for the kill count. Oh God, ouch! Only on dead meat.
What's inside you is our success.
Immaculate. And currently, if you watch them.
So, First Omen was the one I was thinking about. I was thinking, like, this is definitely some... I thought it was like the prequel to the Omen. You know, what? It was all for you! You know, that film? That's the Antichrist movie? But no, I think that was just First Omen. I'll have to look that up later, but... I'll see you guys for Immaculate, because, yikes, we're going for a rough ride there. Adios.